Hello relatives, this is Dr. H. Welcome to this week's Schlagbyte for the week October 22nd, 2007, entitled Healing War Wounds. The Department of Veteran Affairs just reported that the number of Iraq and Afghanistan war veterans seeking treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, has jumped almost 70% in the last year. Of the 100,000 who have served, more than 1 out of 7 have sought help for mental illness, and half of those were diagnosed with PTSD. PTSD has become quite popular in American psychiatry and in the public consciousness over the last 25 years. This diagnosis means that you've experienced a fear or horror that has sparked a cluster of 17 broad symptoms, which include, but are not limited to, intrusive thoughts, memory avoidance, and uncontrollable anxiety. The treatments of choice for this disease in the United States are potent drugs and counseling. The primary psychotherapy model emphasizes the importance of being re-exposed to the trauma until the repetition makes it loosen its hold on you. PTSD, as it's diagnosed in the United States, is unknown in other countries. After the 2004 tsunami in Southeast Asia, American mental health experts predicted a second tsunami of mental illness in the form of PTSD. And we sent trauma recovery experts over there, but the PTSD epidemic never hit. It wasn't the nightmares or the flashbacks that most of the population was concerned with. Their deepest psychological wounds were not even on the PTSD checklists. Their greatest wounds were the loss of one's role in the group. As long as people found a community in which they could reintegrate, they healed. Ken Miller, a psychology professor who studies such traumas, says cultural beliefs affect how we manifest illness and how we heal. In the New York Times Magazine, Miller said, "Can you imagine our reactions if Mozambicans flew here after 9/11 and began telling survivors to engage in a certain set of mourning rituals in order to sever their relationships with their deceased family members?" In East Africa, not talking about distressing experiences is a sign of maturity. I have no quarrel with these veterans who've been traumatized. I would simply like us to reframe the system that defines them as mentally ill and requires them to be disabled and pill dependent to be eligible for benefits. Now here's a revolutionary idea for dealing with the PTSD epidemic. Don't hire more counselors. Instead, invest in communities. Have the VA fund local agencies who can bring together veterans and teachers, counselors, plumbers, electricians, dancers, doctors, fishermen. Doesn't make any difference. But anybody who can help sufferers not focus just on their illness, but help them to identify their strengths and inspire them to mobilize those gifts. Instead of an illness model that promotes drug dependency and disability, let's move to a community mental health model that brings people together to let their spirits soar rather than the illness. That's what I'm thinking this week. Let me know what you're thinking on the Healing Cafe discussion forum. And remember, there's still some spaces left in the Last Mask of the Authentic Healer workshop, November 29th through the 1st, 2nd of December. Check it out on the website, www.healingdoc.com. Have a great week. Remember, nobody makes it alone. Stay connected. I say this for all my relations. Mitakuyasi. Take care.